The Shadow's Claw Admiral Kethra stood on the command deck of the Shadow's Claw, watching the void of space through the massive viewing screen. The Vextai warship was a thing of beauty and terror, its black hull bristling with plasma cannons and energy weapons. For 300 years, ships like this had been the nightmare of peaceful species across the galaxy. The Vextai Empire had built its wealth and power on the simple principle that the strong take from the weak. The bridge hummed with quiet efficiency. Kethra-S officers moved between their stations with practiced precision, their scaled skin gleaming under the red battle lights. Each Vextai warrior stood nearly 8 feet tall, with natural armor plating and razor-sharp claws that could tear through metal. They were born predators, evolved on a harsh world where only the strongest survived. "Status report," Kethra commanded, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had never known defeat. Sub-Commander Velthek approached, his movements fluid and dangerous. "Admiral, the fleet is in position. 12 heavy cruisers, 30 destroyers, and 60 fighter squadrons. The target vessel remains on course, showing no signs of detecting our presence." Kethra allowed himself a small smile. The hunt was about to begin. Intelligence reports indicated a large human vessel moving through this sector, far from any military protection. These humans were a newly discovered species, supposedly primitive creatures who had only recently learned to travel between stars. Their technology was rumored to be centuries behind the Vextai, making them perfect prey. "Bring up the tactical display," Kethra ordered, the main screen to show a 3-dimensional map of the local space. A single dot moved slowly across the grid, representing their target. The human vessel appeared to be a colony ship, probably carrying thousands of defenseless civilians to some new world. The Vextai fleet surrounded it like a pack of hunters closing in on wounded prey. "Analysis of the target?" Kethra asked. Velthek consulted his datapad. Long-range sensors indicate a vessel approximately 2 kilometers in length. No escort. Ships detected. The design appears crude, relying on thick armor rather than energy shields. Weapon signatures are minimal. Perfect. The Vextai specialized in capturing colony ships. The civilians would be sold as slaves, while any useful technology would be added to the Empire's growing collection. It was a business they had perfected over centuries of raiding. "Communications. Open a channel to the fleet," Kethra commanded. Bridge fell silent as every ship in the Armada received the Admiral's orders. "All vessels, this is Admiral Kethra. We have a single human ship, unescorted and apparently unaware of our presence. Standard raiding protocol applies. Disable their engines, board the vessel, and secure the cargo. Any resistance is to be crushed immediately." A chorus of acknowledgments came back from the fleet commanders. The Vextai had done this thousands of times before. It would be over quickly. The Prometheus reveals itself. Captain Helena Vasquez stood in the Combat Information Center of the UES Prometheus, watching the tactical display with the calm focus of a seasoned warrior. The screens showed dozens of hostile contacts closing in on her position, but her expression remained steady. She had fought in the Solar Wars, commanded ships in the brutal conflicts between Earth and the outer colonies. This was not her first battle, and it would not be her last. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chan from the sensor station, "we're reading 43 enemy vessels. Mix of heavy cruisers and destroyers, plus what looks like fighter squadrons. They're moving to surround us." Vasquez nodded. The Prometheus had been tracking the Vextai fleet for hours, using advanced stealth systems to monitor their approach. The aliens thought they were hunting a helpless colony ship, but they were about to learn a very different lesson. "Mr. Torres, status on our defensive systems?" Vasquez asked. Chief Engineer Marcus Torres looked up from his console. "All systems green, Captain. Reactive armor is online. Point defense systems are active, and our main batteries are charged and ready. The Prometheus was humanity's first deep space battleship, designed after analyzing wreckage from previous alien encounters. While it looked like a massive colony ship from the outside, it was actually a floating fortress, packed with the most advanced weapons humanity could create. The thick armor plating that the aliens mistook for primitive technology was actually reactive. Composite armor that could withstand tremendous punishment. Communications, any response to our diplomatic channels? Vasquez asked. Lieutenant Rodriguez shook his head. Nothing, Captain. They're maintaining radio silence and continuing their approach. Vasquez had hoped for a peaceful resolution, but she knew the Vextai reputation. They were raiders and slavers who had terrorized peaceful species for centuries. If they wanted a fight, humanity would give them one they would never forget. All hands, battle stations, Vasquez announced over the ship's communication system. This is not a drill. We are about to engage a hostile alien fleet. Every person on this ship knows why we're here. We're not just defending ourselves today. We're showing the galaxy that humanity will not be prey. Throughout the massive ship, 3,000 crew members moved to their combat positions. Marines checked their weapons. Engineers prepared damage control systems. And gunners loaded the ship's massive railguns. The Prometheus had been designed by humans who understood war, built by a species that had been fighting each other for millennia. First contact the Vextai fleet close to attack range, their ships spreading out in a standard hunting formation. Admiral Kethra watched the human vessel with growing confidence. It continued on its course, apparently oblivious to the danger surrounding it. Target their engines, Kethra commanded. Minimal damage. We want the ship intact. The first wave of plasma bolts streaked across space toward the Prometheus. The green energy weapons had been designed to disable ships quickly and efficiently, leaving the cargo and crew ready for capture. The plasma bolts struck the human ship and simply disappeared. The massive vessel continued on its course, as if nothing had happened. What? Kethra stared at the display in confusion. Velthuk, what happened to our weapons fire? The sub-commander was frantically checking his instruments. Sir, the energy bolts appear to have been absorbed by their hull plating. I'm reading no damage to the target. Before Kethra could respond, the human ship began to change. Sections of what appeared to be cargo holds opened to reveal massive weapon emplacements. The dull gray hull suddenly bristled with gun turrets and missile launchers. In seconds, the harmless colony ship had transformed into a warship that dwarfed anything in the Vextai fleet. Impossible, Kethra breathed. The Prometheus opened fire. The human battleship's response was immediate and overwhelming. Instead of energy weapons, it fired solid projectiles at incredible velocity. Railguns that had been hidden within the ship's structure launched tungsten slugs at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The kinetic energy weapons punched through Vextai shields as if they didn't exist. The first salvo destroyed 3 Vextai destroyers instantly. The tungsten slugs simply tore through the alien ship's hulls, turning sophisticated warships into expanding clouds of debris. Evasive maneuvers, Kethra shouted, but it was too late for many of his ships. Asterisk. The Prometheus continued firing, its multiple railgun batteries targeting different vessels simultaneously. The human ship's fire control systems had been designed to track and destroy multiple targets at once, a technology developed during humanity's own space wars. Captain Vasquez watched the battle unfold with professional satisfaction. Mr. Chun, status on enemy formations? They're breaking formation, Captain. Looks like they weren't expecting return fire. The Vextai had made a critical error. They had grown used to fighting helpless prey and had forgotten how to fight an enemy that could fight back. Their ships were designed for intimidation, and Overwhelming firepower against defenseless targets, not for combat against an equal opponent. "Captain," Torres called out, "their plasma weapons are having no effect on our reactive armor. The energy is being absorbed and converted to power our defensive systems." Vasquez nodded. Human scientists had studied every alien weapon they could find, designing countermeasures for each one. The Prometheus was specifically built to fight alien technology, using lessons learned from centuries of human warfare. The Tide Turn's Admiral Kethra watched in horror as his fleet was systematically destroyed. The humans weren't just fighting. Back, they were winning. Their single ship was outmaneuvering and outgunning his entire armada. "Sir," Velfek reported, his voice shaking, "we've lost 15 ships. The humans are using weapons we've never encountered before. Our shields are useless against their kinetic projectiles." The Prometheus spun through space like a dancer, its advanced maneuvering systems allowing it to dodge incoming fire while maintaining accurate targeting. The human ship seemed to anticipate every Vex-Tai move, responding with tactical brilliance that spoke of centuries of combat experience. "How is this possible?" Kethra demanded. "Intelligence said they were primitive." "Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures from their ship. Their power output is 3 times what our largest vessels can generate. And their targeting systems. They're tracking every ship in our fleet simultaneously." Kethra realized with growing horror that the Vex-Tai had not stumbled upon helpless prey. They had found a predator that made them look like children playing with toys. The human ship continued its deadly dance, picking off Vex-Tai vessels one by one. Each shot was precisely aimed, each maneuver perfectly timed. The Prometheus fought like a living thing, adapting to every tactic the aliens tried. "Admiral," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the human ship." "Put it through," Kethra commanded. Captain Vasquez's face appeared on the main screen. She looked calm and professional, showing no signs of the savage excitement that Kethra would have expected from a warrior in battle. "Vex-Tai vessels," she said, her voice carrying clearly across the communication channel. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earthship Prometheus. You have attacked a peaceful vessel without provocation. I am giving you one chance to surrender. Cease fire immediately and prepare to be boarded." Kethra felt his pride rebel against the idea of surrender. The Vex-Tai had never surrendered. To anyone, they were the hunters, the predators, the ones others feared. "Human," he snarled, "you may have surprised us, but you are still outnumbered. We will not yield to primitive creatures." Vasquez's expression didn't change. "Admiral, you have 30 seconds to reconsider. After that, I will consider your fleet hostile and respond accordingly." The transmission ended, leaving Kethra staring at a blank screen. Around him, his officers waited for orders, but the Admiral found himself paralyzed by indecision. Everything he had believed about the balance of power in the galaxy was crumbling around him. The 30 seconds passed in silence. Then the human ship opened fire again, and Admiral Kethra learned what it meant to be prey. The human war machine, the Prometheus, unleashed its full fury upon the Vex-Tai fleet. Every weapon system that had been hidden within the ship's deceptive exterior now revealed itself. Missile pods opened along the hull, launching swarms of guided projectiles that moved with frightening intelligence. Point defense lasers created a web of deadly light around the human ship, destroying incoming fire before it could reach the hull dot. Captain Vasquez moved between the combat stations with practiced efficiency. Her crew responded to her orders with the precision of a well-oiled machine, each person knowing their role in the deadly ballet of space combat. "Mr. Torres, reroute power from non-essential systems to the main batteries," she commanded. "I want maximum firepower available." "All ready?" "Done, Captain," Torres replied. "We're running at 110% capacity." The Vex-TIE energy weapons are actually boosting our power grid. The human ship's energy absorption systems were a marvel of engineering. Instead of trying to block alien weapons, they captured and converted the energy into usable power. Every plasma bolt that struck the Prometheus only made it stronger. Lieutenant Chun, analysis of their fleet composition, Vasquez requested. They're using a standard hunter-killer formation, Chun reported. Heavy cruisers in the center, destroyers. On the flanks, fighters providing screening. It's designed to overwhelm a single target through concentrated firepower. Vasquez nodded. The Vex-TIE were fighting like predators who had never encountered real resistance. Their tactics were sound. For attacking helpless prey, but useless against an enemy that could fight back. They're about to learn why humans don't use formations like that, she said quietly. The Prometheus suddenly changed course, diving toward the center of the Vex-TIE formation. Instead of trying to escape or maintain distance, the human ship was. Charging straight into the heart of the enemy fleet, the Admiral's Dilemma Admiral, Kethra watched the human ship approach with growing alarm. The creature's tactics made no sense. No rational commander would charge into the middle of a superior force. Sir, Velfac reported, the human ship is on a collision course with the dreadnought Carthel. At their current speed, impact in 40 seconds. Are they trying to ram us? Kethra asked. Unknown, sir, but their weapons are still firing. They've destroyed 6 more ships in the last minute. The Prometheus was cutting through the Vex-TIE formation like a blade through silk. Its railguns fired constantly, each shot precisely aimed at critical systems. The human ship seemed to know exactly where to hit each vessel for maximum damage. How do they know our ship design so well? Kethra demanded. Sir, I'm detecting active scanning beams from their vessel. They're analyzing our hull composition, weapon placements, and structural weak points in real time. Kethra realized with growing horror that the humans were learning as they fought. Each ship they destroyed provided data that made their next shots more effective. The human vessel was adapting to their technology faster than the Vex-TIE could adapt to human weapons. All ships, focus fire on the human vessel, Kethra commanded. Concentrate everything we have on their engine section. The remaining Vex-TIE ships turned their weapons on the Prometheus. Dozens of plasma cannons and missile launchers fired simultaneously, creating a storm of energy that should have vaporized any ship. The human vessel disappeared in a ball of fire and energy. For a moment, Kethra thought they had finally destroyed the impossible ship. Then the Prometheus emerged from the explosion, completely unharmed and still firing. Human ingenuity. The secret lay in the Prometheus's defensive systems. Human engineers had studied every form of space combat, creating countermeasures for weapons that didn't even exist yet. The ship's hull was covered in reactive armor that could absorb and dissipate energy attacks. Its point defense systems could intercept missiles and projectiles with deadly accuracy. But the real advantage was in the ship's combat. AI. The Prometheus was equipped with an artificial intelligence that had been programmed with the tactical knowledge of every human military commander in history. It could analyze enemy movements, predict their next actions, and respond with strategies that had been refined through millennia of human warfare. Captain, Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, we're receiving multiple surrender signals from the enemy fleet. Vasquez looked at the tactical display. The Vex-TIE formation was in complete chaos. Ships were breaking off and trying to escape, while others simply stopped firing and broadcast surrender codes. How many are left? She asked. 37 ships out of their original force of 63, Chan reported. The rest have been destroyed or disabled. Vasquez felt no satisfaction in the destruction. Each ship represented hundreds of lives, lost even if those lives belonged to raiders and slavers. But she also knew that sometimes the only way to stop a predator was to show it what it felt like to be prey. Open a channel to the remaining ships, she ordered. The message Admiral Kethra's face appeared on the main screen of the Prometheus. The proud Vixtai commander looked broken, his earlier confidence replaced by fear and confusion. "Admiral," Vasquez said calmly, "you have a choice. You can continue fighting and watch the rest of your fleet be destroyed, or you can listen to what I have to say." Kethra was quiet for a long moment. Behind him, his bridge crew worked frantically to repair damaged systems and treat wounded officers. "Speak," he said finally. ***. The Vextai Empire has been terrorizing peaceful species for centuries, Vasquez continued. You've grown comfortable thinking of yourselves as the apex predators of the galaxy. But predators can become prey when they meet something higher on. The food chain. What do you want? Kethra asked. I want you to take a message back to your leaders. Tell them that humanity has arrived in the galaxy, and we will not tolerate the abuse of innocent species. Any Vextai ship that attacks civilian vessels will be hunted down and destroyed. Kethra's scaled features twisted with anger. You speak of protecting innocents, but you have killed thousands of my people. Your people chose to attack a peaceful vessel, Vasquez replied. Every death here is the result of that choice. But I'm giving you the chance to make sure no more Vextai die unnecessarily. The Admiral looked around his ruined bridge. Emergency lights cast eerie shadows across damaged control panels. The proud warship that had entered this battle was now barely able to maintain life support. You have made an enemy of the entire Vextai Empire, he said quietly. No, Vasquez corrected. You made an enemy of humanity when you decided to attack our ship. The question now is whether you want to escalate this conflict or find a way to coexist. The turning point. The remaining Vextai ships hung motionless in space, their weapons powered down in surrender. The mighty fleet that had approached the Prometheus with such confidence was now a broken collection of damaged vessels. Captain. Vasquez walked to the main viewing screen and looked out at the debris field that had once been Vextai warships. Each piece of twisted metal represented a choice that had led to this moment. Mr. Torres, she said, begin rescue operations. Any survivors in the debris field are to be recovered and given medical attention. Captain, Chun asked, are you sure that's wise? These are the same people who would have enslaved our crew. That's exactly why we're doing it, Vasquez replied. We're not like them. We don't leave people to die in space, even our enemies. The Prometheus deployed rescue shuttles, small craft that moved through the debris field, searching for survivors. Human medical teams worked to save Vextai lives, treating alien injuries with the same care they would show their own crew. Admiral. Kethra watched this rescue operation with growing amazement. The humans who had just destroyed his fleet were now risking their lives to save his people. It was a concept that challenged everything he thought he knew about warfare and power. Why? He asked over the communication channel. Because it's the right thing to do, Vasquez answered simply. The new balance hours later, the rescue operations were complete. The Prometheus had pulled over 400 Vextai survivors from the wreckage, treating their wounds and providing food and shelter. The human ship's medical bays worked overtime to care for both species. Captain Vasquez stood in the main cargo bay, watching human medics work alongside Vextai doctors to save lives. The former enemies were cooperating, sharing knowledge and techniques to help the wounded. Captain, Dr. Sarah Martinez reported, we've stabilized all the critical cases. The Vextai medical officer has been very helpful. Their healing technology is actually quite advanced. Vasquez nodded. Even in defeat, the aliens were proving they had skills worth respecting. Perhaps there was hope for peaceful coexistence after all. Admiral Kethra approached, moving slowly due to his injuries. The proud warrior looked different now. His earlier arrogance replaced by something resembling respect. "Human captain," he said, his voice formal but not hostile. "I have sent the message to my people, as you requested. They will know what happened here today. What will you tell them?" Vasquez asked the truth, that we encountered a species that fights like we do, but also shows mercy like we do not. That the balance of power in the galaxy has changed, and the Vextai must adapt or be destroyed. Vasquez extended her hand in the human gesture of friendship. After a moment's hesitation, Kethra grasped it with his clawed appendage. "Admiral," she said, "I hope this is the beginning of a new relationship between our species. The galaxy is big enough for both of us." The aftermath, the Prometheus continued on its mission, leaving the surviving Vextai ships to return home with their wounded and their message. The human vessel resumed its disguise as a colony ship, but word of the battle spread quickly through the galaxy. In the command center, Captain Vasquez reviewed the battle reports with her senior staff. The engagement had been decisive, but she knew it was only the beginning. "Captain," Lieutenant Commander Chan asked, "do you think they'll keep their word?" "About stopping the raids? Some will," Vasquez replied. "Others will want revenge. But either way, they'll think twice before attacking human ships again." The Prometheus had accomplished more than just defeating a raiding fleet. It had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage, establishing the human race as a force to be respected and feared. "Mr. Torres," Vasquez said, "prepare a full report for Earth Command. They'll want to know that first contact went according to plan." "Yes, Captain, though I don't think anyone expected it to go quite this well." Vasquez smiled. "Mr. Torres, when has humanity ever done anything the easy way?" As the Prometheus jumped to hyperspace, leaving the battlefield behind, Admiral Kethra's ship limped toward Vextai space. The Admiral sat in his damaged command chair, composing the message that would change everything. The galaxy had a new apex predator, and its name was humanity. The age of easy prey was over. Asterisk.